Hello everyone and welcome to another Modswell video. I am your host Maxwell. This is the second video of the week, so if you've missed my showcase on interesting NPCs, I will link it at the end of the video. Today though, we will be back to normal and taking a peep at my top 5 mods of the week. So let's just get on with it. First up is the King Panther armor. This getup is absolutely beastly, yes, pardon the pun. Imagine if the Nordic armor was designed off of a panther instead of a bear. Imagine if it was made with stylish gold and silver colouring. Imagine if the meshes were flush and made perfectly. Well, congratulations, you've just imagined the King Panther armor set. This is easily one of the coolest designs in the game, and for the helmet, likely the coolest overall. To get your hands on this, it is pretty easy. Simply get yourself the ebony smithing perk and head over to a forge. As long as you have the requisite ingredients, then the armor will be yours. There are many styles of play that you could say this armor will suit, from a knight to a noble, a spellsword who summons animals, and probably a whole bunch in between. Seeing as it will only cost you 33.8 megabytes, you may want to use this in a specific build, but I have seen far more expensive sets look far worse. In terms of LLO placement, this one belongs in the pure craftable section. Slot it in and enjoy. Up next is JK's High Hrothgar. By now, we all know the score with JK's mods. They seek to improve the design of areas by adding in clutter and extra functionality. That is very much the case here again. High Hrothgar has always looked kind of abandoned despite multiple people living there full time. It looked old, dusty, and like the Greybeards just didn't care at all. Personally, I would have thought they would treat such an important place to them far better. And that is where this mod shines. JK has added in some settings that show the Greybeards do in fact care about their ancient monastery. From dining arrangements to their rooms, the entrance area has gained drapery and extra praying locations. The halls have scenes down them instead of just a barren straight line devoid of character. What's so good about how JK goes about these mods is that whilst they shouldn't really be used with other area edits, well, without the patch, they are perfectly suited to texture mods for an even better look. This is due to JK using vanilla assets to expand upon the areas. Another great point about that is those assets already being in the game keep the cost all the way down. In this instance, a mere 597.4 kilobytes, so an easy fit into any order. If you, like me, have always been disappointed with High Hrothgar, even with nice textures, then I highly suggest giving this a chance. Slot it in with your other interior decorating mods in the LLO and enjoy a far better experience when climbing to the throat of the world. Next up we have Sky City Markarth Rising. This is a really cool mod, and finally, something that edits Markarth a little bit more. This mod will take Markarth into the skies by building up around the outsides of the city, making use of the mountains and putting new buildings on it. These come in the forms of 3 new upper levels of housing, an oil refinery, watchtowers for the guards to defend from, functioning Dwemer lifts to explore the city using, a mansion at the peak of the mountain, a statue overlooking the city, and brand new NPCs. Design-wise, Markarth has always made some form of sense to me. A highly defensible location with thick stone walls. As far as layouts go, it was also one of the better designs in the vanilla game, but over time, everywhere else had huge makeovers, rearrangements and improvements via Cities of the North, the Great Cities, and a bunch more other mods. Markarth kept getting left out, with the exception of little changes or ones that focused on clutter. Because of this, other areas started to look better and Markarth was just left alone. But now we have an answer to how Markarth should have been from the start. A large, bustling city with life, places to stay and see, but all whilst keeping its original intent. I am very impressed with this mod, and seeing as it only costs 17.6 megabytes, it will likely fit into most orders. Slot this into single area edits in the LLO and enjoy your new city. Moving on to the 4th mod, and this is yet another tree retexture mod, Treerific, and by the way, I actually really love that name. This mod, as I've mentioned, is going to entirely rework the style of tree in the game. Jarl Borlin has gone around and collected up perms from other tree mods as well as 3D artists online to create a tree setup that suits his style. We get works from T4 for the tree stumps, firewood, logs and chopping blocks. We get trees and shrubs from Hodmanir, plants and trees. Bark textures provided by Modders Resources page that are all linked in the description. Snow bark from some random guy's HQ tree bark. That is actually his name, by the way. Some random guy, I mean. Jarl has made a fair amount of tree setups over his time modding. They come in many styles, but it is clear that he likes his deciduous trees and wanted those to be the building blocks for his Skyrim. And I can't really argue with it. When it comes to roaming the forests, these feel real and more natural to me, largely because it's what I grew up with. The snow trees are likely my favourite due to how the snow sits on the leaves. I think the fir trees are very difficult to get right with this, but here it has been done perfectly. There is only one downside to this mod. Simply put, it is going to cost you 233.6 megabytes, which makes it one of the most expensive tree overhauls available. But it's also one of the best. Slot this into general meshes and textures if you're using the original LLO, or alternatively, in with your grasses if you're using mine. And finally it's time for my top mod of the week. I've gone for Extraplanar sword techniques. This mod, alongside something like Conduit, are the ultimate in terms of spellsword mods. Similar to Conduit, this mod will allow you to channel spells through your sword. However, these spells use physical damage to attack the enemy. The spells themselves come from Final Fantasy Tactics games, and have been designed to fit in with the Skyrim style. Where I think this mod truly shines is how you gather those spells up. 3 new bosses have been added to the world. You must defeat them in order to learn their sword techniques. I'm not one for giving away spoilers, but if you want these magics quickly, then I suggest you head over to the mod page linked in the description to check out the pictures. These will show you exactly where to find the bosses. The spells you can get are Northwind Strike, which will cause an area of effect damage at the target location and has a 25% chance to deal double damage. Hallowed Bolt, which will rain down lightning damage upon everyone inside a large area, but do be careful with this one as you may hurt bystanders or followers. We also get Shadow Blade, which will heal the user for the damage caused. Dusk Blade, which is a utility spell that can cause stagger on the target for when you don't want them dead just yet. Hellcry Punch, which deals moderate damage and lowers the enemy's attack by 50% for 30 seconds. Shell Bust Stab, which is going to remove 100 armor from the enemy for 30 seconds, and Judgment Blade, which deals decent damage and causes the enemies to be pinned down 50% of the time, but failing that will cause the enemy to stagger. There is a ton going on with this mod, and I hope to see it get more development. On PC it's definitely a little bit smoother, as it somewhat requires SKSE for certain things that it does. However, the Xbox version is still working well, and adds a whole new weapon to the arsenal, in what I would consider an under-modded area of the spell sword. I highly recommend keeping your eyes on this one and seeing what happens with it in the future. However, as it only costs 5.9 megabytes, downloading it to see for yourself isn't actually going to be a problem. I've slotted this one in with my new spawns in my LLO, and would have it in multiple exterior edits in the OG version. And that is all I have time for today. As always, thank you for watching. I have left links to all of the mods and resources used to make them in the description. You'll also find links to my Discord and the Xbox Mods subreddit, where I'm often around trying to help people out. My Buy Me a Coffee page, which is donations towards the channel, and all of the load orders I've ever made or am currently making. If this has helped, I would really appreciate those likes, comments, and of course subscriptions. They help me a bunch with the channel. Either way, thank you for watching, and I do hope to see you in the next one.